Hi everyone, I'm Deepa and welcome to today's episode of OmMade Kitchen. So today we're going to be having one of my favorite dishes as a child. My mom used to always make something called pulao, and pulao is basically a rice dish that usually has some kind of vegetables in it, sometimes can have nuts or raisins, and a little bit of seasoning. And the reason why this was one of my favorite dishes is it's simple, it has a little bit of the salty, the crunchy, a little bit of sweet, and you can make it your own. You can put whatever vegetables you like in it. So today's pulao, or today's rice dish, is going to be made with peas, cashews, we're gonna use some golden raisins, and a little bit of spices. Let's go. First, let's turn our stove on medium to high heat. In traditional Indian cooking, people will use ghee or vegetable oil. I'm gonna be using coconut oil because I really love the buttery flavor it will give our rice. Let's say a tablespoon and a half of coconut oil. In Indian cooking, we do something called blossoming our spices. What that does is it allows us to take dried spices, warm them in oil before we add other ingredients, and it really brings out the flavor of the spices and kind of brings them alive both in your mouth and in the dish. This is my traditional spice dabba. Now, again, waiting for the oil to melt down and start to warm up. A little less than a teaspoon of mustard seed and the same amount of fennel. A big cup of raw cashews. And we'll put it back on the heat. You're gonna give the cashews a quick little saute, and you'll see that turmeric is already turning them a really beautiful golden yellow color. And you want to adjust the heat to make sure it's not too high. You always want to make sure that you're not putting the spices into something that's going to burn. So the oil should be hot, but that's why we take it off the heat just for a moment to make sure that the spices get blossomed but not burn. Now that these cashews have sauteed just for a few moments, just to give them that little bit of browning, I'm going to add the 2 cups of rice. And then we're going to add in 3 cups of warm water. The great thing is, once you put everything in the pot, it's really just waiting for the rice to cook. So now that we have the cashews, the rice, the spices, and a little bit of coconut oil starting to come to a boil, we're gonna be adding in about 3/4 of a cup of dried, I'm using golden raisins. Feel free to use black ones. I think golden raisins are nice. They have a little bit of sweetness to them. We're also gonna add 2 couple-inch pieces of cinnamon stick. And I know, rice and cinnamon, you're thinking, is this gonna turn sweet with raisins and everything? With the turmeric and a little bit of pepper, we're gonna really allow ourselves to have that combination and play of spicy and sweet, so we have that nice balance in our mouth. You also wanna note that most people, and I was definitely one of these people, don't usually rinse rice after getting it right out of the bag. They just put it right in a pot or the rice cooker. Now, it's really important to rinse your rice. I think that it totally changes the flavor and the way my stomach digests the rice, but most rices have some kind of coating or something, and you just really want to give them a nice rinse. Plus, it never hurts just to give it a nice little rinse, just as you would rinse your vegetables. Now we're adding in 1 pack of frozen peas, but again, you can add in any, I'm actually gonna add onion and garlic powder. So we're gonna add about a little less than a teaspoon of onion powder. We're gonna do the same with garlic. Now you can use fresh garlic if you like. I'm just using the dried garlic. Now this is a homemade garam masala. Garam masala is available at most stores. Everyone uses different ones. This is one of my family's favorite spices. It can be used in all kinds of vegetables, and it's also the secret to a really tasty, fancy rice. We're gonna do about a teaspoon of that. And final 2 ingredients are gonna be whole cloves. I'm gonna put about, let's say, 7 or 8 cloves in. And now salt. So I'm gonna give it a stir, and it's already starting to come to a boil, so we're gonna cover it and then just let it cook for 15 minutes. Everyone has their own way of making rice. Again, food is so personal, but I like my rice to be just a little spicy, so I am actually gonna add a little bit of red pepper into mine. And this is Kashmiri red pepper, so it has nice color, but it also has really good flavor. It is a little spicy, so you don't want a ton. So I'm just putting maybe 1/4 teaspoon. And I'm actually gonna add a little more turmeric too, because we want our rice to be a really pretty yellow color and get the benefits of the turmeric. So I'm gonna give it one more swirl, and I'm gonna bring the heat down to medium to low. So while the rice is cooking, I'm gonna give you guys a couple other ideas and add-ons that you can do to this rice. Now, if you're not a huge fan of rice or you just can't have it, one of the things that you can substitute is you can take cauliflower and put it through your food processor and do a cauliflower rice. The only difference is rather than boiling it with the ingredients, you would prepare the other ingredients, and then you would saute the cauliflower into it to make it like the rice dish. So like I said, you can make this rice your own by adding any vegetables you like. You can add fresh chopped onion, you can add fresh chopped potatoes, eggplant, make it more of a hearty dish. If you're a big mushroom fan, feel free to add mushrooms. Now, another way I would like to prepare it, and I will definitely share this recipe, is I make a saffron rice, which doesn't have the turmeric and as many savory spices, and it's a little bit more sweeter. This one has that more balance of spicy and sweet. When you're serving this rice, you can garnish it with cilantro. I'm actually gonna probably garnish it with a little bit of tulsi, which is also known as Indian holy basil. I am allergic to cilantro, but in most Indian kitchens, cilantro is definitely a staple. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about adding spices to our food is spices are medicine. Each spice has a different property and can enhance your health and well-being and vitality. So why not use nature's cheat sheet and basically add all these different spices into your diet and be able to enhance your health and how you feel. So traditionally in Indian food, there's a lot of different spices, and there's the main spices, but there's also different things that you can add in. This is because Indian food tends to have the philosophy of being medicine and being nourishing, not just for your body, but for your energy and for your daily vitality. The reason I'm sharing this really simple recipe, and it may seem like a lot of ingredients for such a simple recipe, but again, I'm just adding what my favorite things are, is I want to demystify Indian food. I know that sometimes people will be like very adamant, I love Indian food, or I really don't like Indian food. And I usually tell people, if you don't like Indian food, you probably just haven't had Indian food that you'll enjoy. What better way to figure out what you like than to try it in your own kitchen? So don't be scared of spices, and spice blends are a great way to incorporate some of the Indian flavors into your diet, and they have great health benefits. So definitely explore trying spices that are a little out of your normal comfort zone. If you want to take a peep at my spice drawer, I will definitely show you that I have expanded my tastes from my basics as a kid. So I'm gonna serve my rice with a little fresh squeeze of lemon, just a tiny little pinch of salt, and some fresh tulsi from my tree. And voila, you have pulao or fancy rice. Just be mindful if you're serving this rice to guests that the whole spices, the cloves, the cinnamon sticks, those you might want to peek out. Or if you have a little spice satchel that you can put in the rice while it's cooking, you can just take the satchel out. It's a little quick fix. I don't really mind if I get a whole clove or a whole cinnamon stick, and I usually warn my guests, but just in case. Don't forget the most important ingredient, the secret ingredient, love.